This week on the podcast, I have the privilege of introducing you to a really good friend of mine. We have been friends for over 2 decades, and she is dear to my heart. Her name is Abigail Doust, and she actually was the one who trained me as a coach almost a decade ago. Abigail is an author, a speaker, a coach, and a trainer who is absolutely passionate about helping leaders get equipped to make a significant impact in this world. She is a certified professional life coach and an associate certified coach with the International Coaching Federation. She also is a certified human behavior and DISC consultant, if any of you are familiar with the DISC personality assessment. And she is absolutely so skilled in helping people make changes and cultivate healthy relationships. One of her passions is serving others, which she does so well, even in her own family with her husband and her 4 beautiful daughters. They live in the Denver area. I'm so jealous that she gets to look out over the beautiful mountains every day. And I'm just so excited for you to hear all of the wisdom that she brings to this conversation. So let's jump in. Truth time. When's the last time you raised your hands for a swift kick in the pants? Well, I'm the no-nonsense type friend who's going to tell you when you have food in your teeth. So let's get right to it. This is your infusion of sacred and secular, calling you higher into who God created you to be, exploring how intimately faith applies to every part of your life, and how you can live that faith every single day in the marketplace. I felt the tension of separation of church and state. I've been one of the few women at a table of men for decades, and I've stood my ground. Are you ready to do the same? These tools, resources, and interviews are meant to do just that. I'm Jan Touchberry, and it's time to share her faith at work. Hey friends, welcome back to Her Faith at Work. And I say this every week, but I really am so excited to bring you my guest today because she and I have been friends for longer than I don't even know how long we've been friends. It's been well over 2 decades.
Yep.
And we've just been through so much together. Uh, yeah, it's so much. And I love her dearly, and I cannot wait to share all of her wisdom and insight and expertise with you today, because I think that what she brings to the table is going to be so incredibly valuable to you. And we were just talking before I hit record that I am a firm believer that the Lord puts things like this podcast into I'll just say AirPods or computer speakers or car speakers of the people that need to hear it. And so if you're listening to this today, I would go out on a limb and say, God has something for you. So listen up. Listen up. So today I want to introduce you to my friend Abigail. I'm so excited you're here.
Hello.
So tell
I'm
us a
so
little
glad
bit
to be
about you.
here.
Tell me about your
Oh,
family,
yes.
who you are,
Okay.
what you do, all the things.
Yes, I have this sweet, awesome husband of mine that you've worked with for many years. I have 4 daughters who are pushing the adulthood thing, 20, 18, 16, 14. I live in Denver area, which is kind of new to me. I've been out here just 2 years, and so I have this gorgeous view of the mountains, which I will never grow tired of. It's
Yeah.
so incredibly wonderful. I have the privilege to coach people for a living and to train people to be coaches. And that's what brings me the greatest joy. And I love to take walks and listen to music and listen to Jim's podcast when I have free time.
That's so funny. You just hit on so many of my love buttons right there, because I was just taking a walk this morning listening to a new song that literally I was telling somebody I think I was probably skipping and dancing a little bit as I was walking down the street and
Is
thinking
that the new
about,
Brandon Lake song? Is
yes,
that
it's
what you're
so
talking
good.
about?
Yes.
Yes, it's so good.
It's so good. And I just know some of my neighbors because I walk when they all leave for work, and they're probably going, what is this lady doing? What's happening right now? And I just didn't even care. I just did not care because
Yeah.
it bring me so much joy.
You're
And
the epitome of dance like no one's watching.
yep, yep. And I'm a mountain girl, not a beach girl, so I'm jealous
Yep.
of your view.
Same.
Mm, jealous.
If people are wondering now, that's who I praise, because they're all wondering now what
Yeah.
Brandon Lake song we were
Oh, that's
jamming
a
to.
good point. I
Yes.
I will link that in the show notes for everybody because
Yes. It's
yeah,
so good.
it's so good. So, so good. Um, so fun fact, I get I'm in conversations fairly regularly about the podcast with people that I know are listeners, and they're like, "You're so good at interviewing people," and like partially, if not more than partially, it is because of this woman right here, Abigail, because
Oh
she
my
was my
goodness.
coach. I went through her very first coaching class,
Yep.
and one of the
Yep.
I probably told you this, I don't know, Abigail, but one of the things that I pulled out of that class was how to ask good questions and how to deeply listen. And I think that
Mm.
both of those skills that you were able to hone in me, or at least start the revelation that I needed to grow in those areas. um, that's
Yay.
one of those are two things that really served me well in this podcasting space. And so I'm just so
Mm.
thankful that so many years ago, I don't even know how many years ago it was. When did you do your
That was
first?
2016,
Holy cow. So it's been a long time.
Jan- January
Yeah.
2016. Mhm.
So all those years ago that you answered the Lord's call to start coach training, and that I had the
Mhm.
privilege of being one of your guinea pigs. So thank you for all that you do.
Yes, I'm so glad. That was such a scary move, too. I remember we had only been coaching for a couple of years,
Hmm.
and God was telling us to train others. And both my husband and I were just like, how you talk to God, like,
What?
whatever, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm not equipped enough, adequate enough, like
Uh,
fill in the blank. And I remember we went to the board and told them, the board of the nonprofit we were on, and just kind of mentioned, yeah, God's been kind of talking to us this way, that way, but that's ridiculous. And the whole board was just like, are you crazy? Are you deaf? Like
yeah.
it's very clear. You guys are supposed to train.
Yeah.
And so I just remember what a step of faith that was, but such a
Mhm.
joy. And yes, you were in the first class.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I'm thankful for it. I know that it is your passion to coach people and to train other coaches. And you've been doing this now for 8 years. And
Mhm.
I don't know how many classes that you have cycled through, but I know that the world is a better place because of what you said yes to. And I think that if we stopped and listened to the direction that the Lord is trying to take us in our own lives, and we're brave, like you and Scott were,
Mhm.
and said, "Yes, Lord, we're going to step into this scary place." How much would the world be different if we were just stepping into our callings, right?
Oh, I just get excited. Like my heart goes pitter patter to hear you say that because I just desire that so much. And I think it would be a game changer. I think we'd live in a different world
Absolutely. Yeah.
for sure. We would be different, our families would be different, our spheres of influence would be different, and therefore the whole world would be different for
For
sure. So
yeah.
let's keep moving toward it because how
Let's
exciting
do
would
it.
that be?
Yeah. Be brave. Be
Yeah.
brave. So there are so many things that I want to talk to you about today, but specifically, we're going to talk about coaching and being coached, because I know that for some people, they're like, yeah, I don't really need a coach. And I'm here to tell you, false black bear. Yes, you do. Yes,
Yeah,
you do.
everybody needs a coach.
Everybody needs a
Unless you
coach.
need therapy, you need a coach.
Yes. So that brings up a good question. Tell us the difference between coaching and therapy.
Yes. Well, therapy is much more about looking back. It's what happened to you in the past, whether that be childhood or adolescence or adult trauma or hard times that are something you've not been able to move forward from
Mhm.
because there's something kind of tangled up there that you
Yeah.
need to deal with.
Yeah.
Also, if there's a diagnosis that's necessary, that's going to
Mhm.
have to come from a counselor. So,
Right.
coaching is for fairly healthy people, which I joke about, like, what exactly? It's kind of ambiguous. Like,
Yeah.
who are pretty healthy people? But, fairly healthy people who want to be more dialed into the present and what is happening there that's kind of not working for them, or they want more of or less of in their lives.
Hmm.
And they're willing to just kind of be on the journey to figure that out and move toward that.
Yeah.
I think one of the misnomers is that you have to know what you want. You have to know you have a goal. Like, I will go to coaching if I know I want to lose 50 pounds, or I want to change careers, or because I want to, fill in the blank. But what if you just kind of feel dissatisfied? What if you think, is God, isn't there more to
Mhm.
this? And something just doesn't feel, I just don't feel like myself. And you don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
You don't even know what's wrong, and you don't know what you want. Those are situations you can go to coaching for too, because we can help you assess. We can walk through your life. We can together with you kind of open different doors, open different rooms, look under the rug, see what's going on, and help you identify the things
Hmm.
that aren't quite clicking for you.
Yeah. And there are so many different kinds of coaches. You mentioned a couple of them.
Yes.
And I really think I was talking to one of my other guests a few weeks back, who is a high performance business coach. And
Mhm.
she said something to the effect of, I'm not quoting directly, but she said something to the effect of, every coach has many coaches. And I feel like it's
Mhm.
if when we think that we don't need that, or when we're too good for that, or maybe don't deserve that, even on the other end of the spectrum,
Ooh,
um,
oh, you're going there.
I just think that we just get so tangled up,
Yeah,
and how much can we benefit from someone's perspective that's outside all of the junk that we have to deal with every single day, that we literally get
that's
mired,
right.
right? We just get mired in it and can get so
Yes.
stuck, or so um our blinders, and we can't see
Yeah.
what somebody from the outside looking in, like a coach, can see to help us move past whatever we
Mhm.
need to move past to go where the Lord wants us to
Yes.
go. And so yeah, I'm a firm believer in coaches. Bring it on.
Mhm.
Bring on all of them.
Yes. Yes. As you were talking, I thought of another reason that I think people don't go to coaching, and
Mm,
it's because they fear a quick answer. And so I know that there are some coaches out there that integrate coaching with maybe consulting. Maybe they have a product to sell, or products that they kind of come alongside people with. And so there is sort of an integrated mashup there.
sure.
Um, and I believe even in the integrated approach, when you do have some, A, B, C, D options here, you should really be, as a coach, an ultimately good listener, and
Yeah.
you should help identify where your person is.
Mhm.
And pure coaching, I kind of what I call pure coaching, means I have no invested interest in where you end up. Like, I have no judgment on it. I have no idea what is right for you. I don't suggest that I would know what
Mhm.
it's like to be in your shoes and how you should handle the situation. So I genuinely am asking unbiased questions to help you figure it out. So whether you're pure coaching or you're integrated with some product, either way, do the service to your client of being a really great, genuine listener, and
Mm.
not try to really ask God, if you're a believer, to help you not miss those
Yeah.
clues, that there's something else there that kind of needs uncovered, because we
Mm.
do some damage to the coaching world when we perceive that we know what
Sure.
someone needs a little too quickly and then try to fix them.
Yeah.
That's not what coaching should feel like. And so, if anyone's thinking about coaching but they're afraid of that, go to a good coach who really, and even tell them, I really don't want any answers. I just want like pure coaching where you just listen.
That's so good. I know that listening and asking really great questions are such a pillar of what you teach in your class. But even more than that, I mean, you live your life this way. I've experienced it so many times just in having friend to friend conversation, not coach to coachee,
Hmm.
conversations. And so whether someone perceives themselves as a coach or not, like you don't have to bear that title in order to use these skills that you teach to enrich
Right.
your life and relationships. So I would love for you to talk about that because I was just, as you were talking, I'm thinking, yeah, every single thing that you were just saying could apply to me as a parent or to me as a spouse or to me as a
Yep.
coworker because we all are in relationship with other people and whether we're coaching them or
That's right.
not, we have to be good listeners and we have to be able to ask good questions. So talk to me a little bit about the listening and asking questions piece.
Well, let me ask you a question
Okay.
before I answer a question. What does it feel like for you when someone is really dialed in and listening to you with their whole self?
I feel very validated. I feel very seen, which I think is rare these days for people to really
Mhm.
see others. And it makes me feel important to them.
Mm. That is so beautiful. You felt validated and important and
Mhm.
seen. And don't we all want to walk around this world helping people feel that way?
Yeah.
Like, if we have the power to do it, wouldn't we want to dish that out a little bit? Like someone who has hundreds, like, hey,
Mhm.
I've got lots of $100 bills here. Let me
Yeah.
just hand them out.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it feels like. And so, yes, so I forget now your original question. Talk about what you want me
How
to talk about?
learning to listen, like you don't have to call your
Oh, right. You don't have
coach
to be a coach.
to be able
Yes.
to benefit from learning to listen well and ask good questions in life.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. So what I hear from people who take my coach training program, the EFI coach training again and again, is that it helps them in all areas of their lives because they are learning a skill set and gaining some muscle in a certain area that has reward and payoff all over the place.
Yeah.
Because listening is one of the key ways we connect with other human beings. And for us to pause and listen and learn how some of the habits we have with listening, peel some of those back.
Mm.
My program is very personal and unique and helps you identify the things that are getting in your way of listening, not just generally, but what about you specifically? And then you get to show up at work and in your home and with your friends with this new skill set,
Yeah.
and people notice it. They'll say to you, wow, I just really feel like you've been dialed into what I'm saying right now. Like, it means a lot to me that you would hear me with this issue I'm struggling with, whatever.
Right.
And the value is not in your answer. The value is not in talking. The value
Right.
is not in the advice you give. The
Yeah.
value is in listening. I've
Hmm.
heard it said listening is loving.
That's good.
Listening is loving.
Yeah. That
It
needs to,
feels the same. It feels like love. Yeah.
yeah, that's really good. I love that. It was funny because one of the big, I'll say jokes. So Abigail's husband is Scott. And I love Scott with every fiber of my being. He is the greatest human. He has a sense of humor that is
Oh,
unlike
whatever.
anybody else.
Yeah.
No, he does. I
That's
just
true.
love him.
That's true.
And
Yes.
maybe lands a little bit hard on the sarcasm scale. And so, I just dish that right back, which is why we get along so well.
Yep.
But during the coach training, I just remember that like one of the things that I bristled against so much during the time that I was, learning from you guys is when he would say, "So what I hear you saying is," and I'm like, I do stop. Don't say that anymore. And yet I find myself now parroting back for people because I want to make sure that I understand what they're actually saying because we again had this conversation before I hit record that everybody comes into every situation with their own perception and the saying is perception is reality, right? And so you come
Right.
at a certain situation one way, I come at it from a different, and when we're trying to converse about it, we're not coming from the same places, and so you may be saying one thing and I may be hearing a different one. And so I find myself in specifically in the work environment, saying,
Mhm.
so let me see if I understand what you're saying. And I will parrot back what I heard
Yeah.
so that there can be some clarification. And man, does that get you farther down the road.
Oh, for sure. Because it's a win-win-win. Because let me tell you some of the scenarios that people encounter. Either that is what they were saying, and they can say, yeah, wow, thank you. That's right. I really feel like you're hearing me. Or they say, oh, no, it wasn't quite that. It was this. Well, now you guys have understanding. You saved yourselves all kinds of trouble
Right.
down the road by
Yeah.
being on a different page about it. Or, oh, that is what I said, but I don't like hearing it back like that. I think that my goal is too harsh, or my feedback was, not appropriate, or, thank you for helping me hear my words because that's not really what I
Mm,
want to do.
yeah.
And those are just three things that come to my head. But no matter what the result, you're winning because you're more on the same page and you're moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. That's amazing. So I think that proves the point that everybody could benefit from some coach training. Um,
Yes.
and even if you never decide that you're going to be a professional coach, whatever you're doing in life can benefit from learning these skills and things. So, talk to us a little bit about, like, we've talked about the listening skills and the communicating skills or the asking question skills. What are some other things that you encompass that you feel are important during the coach training process?
Yes, absolutely. So we grow a little bit in our own awareness. So we study some personality things and some emotional intelligence. And
Oh,
emotional intelligence is supposed to be about growing in your own self awareness so that you can manage yourself, so that you can show up relationally, socially, and be aware of others in the room, and then manage those relationships effectively. So
right.
we talk a lot about relationships and a lot about self awareness and what we have power over. And then also, there's a lot to trust and safety,
Mm,
and being a safe person for someone, and
mm,
what that looks like and what it doesn't look like, because that's
mhm,
really critical. We also incorporate all the ICF competencies. The ICF is the International Coaching Federation, and they're kind of the governing body, the gold standard of coaching. And they have 8 competencies that include listening and asking questions and building trust and safety, also having ethical standards. You want to manage progress and help them see where they were and where they're going. That kind of thing is really helpful in coaching. And also, there's one that I love called Evokes Awareness.
mm.
And this is about helping a person evoke their own awareness. So it's not the coach's awareness. I want to be aware of all of the aspects of Jen's issue. I want to help you
There are
evoke
so many.
awareness. I know, just pick one, right? I know that's why I love about coach training. I'm like, you need to practice and I will be your client. Thank you very much. I get
Right.
so much free coaching. I have an endless amount of issues that people can coach me on. But that idea of evoking awareness in someone else, I think, is a very special tool. It's like
Mm,
the knife or the thing in your kitchen that you don't actually know how to use, like
mm,
peeling mangoes or avocados or something. It's this very special thing that helps create that safe place and ask the right questions, that the person being coached kind of goes, oh, like they have their own aha moment. Oh, that is true
absolutely.
of me.
Yeah.
Oh, I have done that before. Oh, I'm realizing what's holding me back is actually this thought, this mindset issue. And they have their own aha moment. And that's why it's so beautiful. And as the coach, I don't have to have gone through what they are going through. I don't
Mm,
have to actually have experienced that thing, because I stand outside the pool
mhm,
while they're in the pool. I stand outside the pool and I don't know exactly what it's like to be them, but I can show up and really be present with them and ask questions that help them uncover what their next thing is.
mm. That's so good. So good. Okay, so this if this part stinks, I'll edit it out, but I don't think it's going to stink. Okay. So I'm going to throw some career scenarios at you that would not
Okay.
necessarily be coaches, but I want you to see if you can tell me how it's a little rapid fire. This is exciting. Tell
Woo!
me how you think coach training could benefit these particular people. Okay. So,
Okay.
a lawyer.
A lawyer needs to be able to read body language
Mm.
and listen to what they're saying, but also what they're not saying.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's really good. Okay. Um, an elementary school teacher.
An elementary school teacher needs to be able to read the room and control their own emotions so that they can be the lifeline for the others.
Yeah, that's good. Financial advisor.
A financial advisor needs to come alongside their clients and hear what their dreams really are. What is it that they are hoping for that will motivate them to make a change in their finances so they can get what they want? You have to actually help them uncover their values and their dreams so that they can get what they want.
That's good. Okay, realtor.
A realtor should be listening to what they're saying and not saying. Also, a realtor, if you're buying helping a family or a couple, listening to more than one person and helping
Yeah.
them turn to each other and be like, hey, so I hear you guys saying something a little bit different. Why don't you turn toward each other and talk about that for a moment and let me know what you decide?
Oh, that's really good. That's really good. So I just filled up your next class because all of these people that are going, I'm not going to be a coach.
Right. Well, that's the thing. And actually, that's why my focus of this next semester is that you are already another profession, but how can coaching help you kind of
Right.
thing? Because there aren't a lot of people who are saying, I want to be a professional coach. Now, if that is you, that's great. And I fully support you and I would help you get there. But I really see such a beautiful compliment to almost any career that that's who I want to help. It's just going to give them such an extra edge with whatever it is they're trying to accomplish and the people they're trying to care for.
Yeah.
And I want coaching skills to be in the hands of these people.
It's like, it
It's
really is
satisfying.
like extended education.
It is. And it's so rewarding to help someone on a deeper level.
Hmm.
When you hear someone and then you still offer the thing that it is that you do,
Mm,
but you pair it with these coaching skills,
mhm,
it's kind of like a drug. You don't
mm.
need to do street drugs anymore, guys. You don't have to be addicted to prescription drugs. Coaching is a drug. It's so I jest, but it's so rewarding
Yeah.
to walk alongside people and
Yeah.
to show up for them and be present
Mm,
and to have the skills. Because I think there are people who really love people and they want to help,
mhm,
but they don't know how to do this. And so
mm,
they kind of waffle around and they maybe botch it up a little bit. Maybe they try to give advice or they try to help or they joke a little or
mhm.
whatever, and they just miss the mark.
Yeah.
And it makes me sad because I know what it is to lean into something and actually get help someone get traction. And
Mm,
I know that there are people who want that satisfaction. They want to be able to help more effectively than they are.
yeah.
And God's working through them. God is thankfully God's ultimately the one that's helping us. But it's like, why would we not want a little bit of training to
Mm,
partner with the Holy Spirit and what He's
mm.
doing so that we can walk this path?
Amen, sister. Okay. So, just if you are in a profession other than coaching, whether you own your own business or whether you are an employee for someone else, and you're thinking to yourself, I could benefit from this, your action step is to find out if you work for someone else, if they have employee growth funds that you could put in and say, look, I would like some continuing education in this space, and this is how I think it could benefit my job and thus enhance your business. And then if you are a
Totally.
small business owner, you just need the write-off, people. Write it off and
Yep.
grow your business by becoming
I love how
better.
practical you are.
Better, yes. Do
Yes.
it. It's a write-off. Okay. So
Yes.
I want to end this conversation because I could literally talk about coach training forever, but I want to end the conversation talking about your book because again,
Mm.
I think it carries with it skills that every single human being needs to know. So Abigail and her
Yes.
husband wrote a book called Authentic Conversations. And so why don't you tell us about your book, about what
Mm-hmm.
led you to write this book and what people can
Mm-hmm.
get from the book?
Ah, so exciting. So the book was my COVID project. I don't know if you remember this story or not, but we were at a real transition point. We'd been doing pastoral ministry. My husband was a pastor. We'd done a lot of care work, marriages, addiction, forgiveness, business partnerships, small groups, the whole gamut of relationship coaching and work. And we were at a transition ourselves right before COVID hit, where we knew God was telling us to close our nonprofit and do the next thing. And that made us pause already to kind of say, what do we know for sure? We've been in pastoral work 15 years. What do we know for sure? And then COVID hit, and we had plenty of time to sit around thinking. And I'll tell you a silly story, Jan, because this is exactly the kind of thing that your listeners might enjoy the hope of. I made a Shutterfly album as part of, we were watching movies as a family. I've got people watercoloring, and Scott learned how to play the guitar, and like so many families during
Sure.
COVID, right? And
Yeah.
I'm working on a Shutterfly album. And when I spent the whole week on it, probably 20 hours working on this album with our big family and 800 pictures. And at the end of that week, I went to get my credit card because it needed revised on Shutterfly's site. And on my way back from getting my credit card, I stopped at all my photo albums, and I thought, let me just see what year I'll do next. And I was just cute and boppy. And there was the year I had worked on all week long. I already had made it into an album, and
Oh
I'd
no.
forgotten, because I make calendars for my family. And so the pictures looked familiar to me, but I just assumed it was because I'd done calendar work. And the next morning, the Lord impressed upon my heart, if you can spend 20 hours making an album that you never buy, you can spend 20 hours on a book that you don't finish.
Wow.
Because he had been nudging me to write a book. And I was like, nah, I'm kind of perfectionistic. And what if I get into it and I feel like a failure? And he used that whole ridiculous Shutterfly thing to get my attention and to
Hmm.
say, you really should just try this. So I did. That's where we just stopped, and I asked Scott, we would sit on the back deck, and I would say, what is it that you know for sure? 15 years in, working with people who are hurting, people who are stuck. What do you know for sure? And we just wrote it down. So
Hmm.
these are the 7 skills that you need to unlock your ability to connect in a more powerful way with people in your life. It's especially written for believers, that they would feel like as they go about their business at the gym, at church, maybe they're in leadership, maybe it's a job thing, maybe it's your family or your extended family. But these are the 7 skills you can begin to implement in your life, and see change in the ability to connect with other people for the glory of God. And it's an easy read, it's a fun way, it's very real, but it's the layman's version. If you don't have money or time to go all the way with coach training, that would be something you could pick up and start right away.
That's awesome. So what I'm hearing you say is that you basically have three levels of things and ways that you serve people. You have the book,
Yep.
you do coaching, like you are a coach
Yes.
to people, you are actively accepting clients, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and then you are getting ready to start a brand new coach training class. When does that launch?
It launches August 27th.
Wow, that's super fast. Okay, good. Good timing. Good
But
time.
people can join in the week after that as well. It's okay to miss the first class. So we can get going with it. Also, I already have one on the books for January. So it's
Okay,
going to be offered again in January for sure.
that's great. That's awesome. So,
Yep. And those are both on the website already.
okay, so tell people about your website. Tell people how to find you.
Yes, Equipping for Impact, which is a very meaningful name for me because I want to equip people to have the greatest, most significant impact from their lives. But Equipping for Impact is a great place to find coaching, coach training, and a little bit more about who we are if you want to know. And it's really easy to schedule a 15-minute phone call with me. And I would just love to hear what it is you want to do and see if I can help. And it doesn't have to be that I'm your answer. I am thrilled to resource people to anything.
That's
I
awesome.
want to help. So
And
don't hesitate to schedule that for sure.
is your book there too, or is that some
Yes,
the
the
book's
book is there on the website. It's also on Amazon if
okay.
you prefer to get it there. And Instagram and Facebook are Equipping for Impact.
Okay, we're gonna link all of that stuff in the show notes. And a little birdie told me that you might have a discount for people who listen to the podcast.
I am such a huge fan of you, Jan Touchberry, that I couldn't help but to put a really super generous thing across the board. $3 off the book, but 30% off coaching or $300 off coach training for your folks, Faith at Work. Because I just love, love, love you. And I'm so excited about what God is doing in both of our lives and in these platforms. And it's just really exciting. Let's do it together. We're
Let's
not alone.
That is so true. Thank you so much for your time.
Mhm.
Thank you for being here with me. I appreciate you so much. And thank you for what you bring into the coaching space because I think it's super unique. You're so gifted at what you do. Like the Lord literally crafted you to do this.
Mm.
And I know that anybody who reaches out to get to know you better, to follow you, to get your book, and to take the dang coach training, people, they are going to be so enriched
Yeah,
and so glad that they did. So thank you again for being here today. I appreciate you.
it is my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for joining me for another episode of Her Faith at Work. If the Lord put someone on your heart that you think needs to hear this message today, will you just smash that share button? And if you haven't already followed the show, I would love for you to do that. Super extra points if you hop over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. That helps the algorithm pick us up and drop us right in the AirPods of people that need to hear what the Lord is saying to them today. I hope you'll come back for the next episode of Her Faith at Work. The podcast comes out every Wednesday. And if you look down in the show notes, I've even got a couple of free downloads for you that I think you will really enjoy. With that, have a great week. See you next time.